This time on Beat Up Builds, we tune the Supercharged 22RE. Welcome back, everybody. My name's Daniel, and this is my M90 Supercharged 22RE. I got the supercharger for $50 at a swap meet. I built everything to install it on the 22RE, and I first got it working on factory ECU. Last episode, we got Microsquirt. It's a standalone fuel injection. We put that on here. More or less, we got to the point where we knew the transmission would kind of work and I could drive it still. It is my daily driver because I'm an idiot. And that's kind of where we left off. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna get the Microsquirt finally tuned and working properly. I've got bigger injectors, that's the first step. We're gonna install those and then we're gonna work on the tuning, get this thing running great, and see how big of a burnout it can do now. That's really the most important thing. So let's go, let's get these injectors installed and go from there. So these are the injectors I'm using. They're actually out of a Subaru WRX STI. I think they're like 600cc or 500 something. I forget actually. I calculated it all. So they're big enough, I just can't remember what they were. Yeah, so they should be the same size physically and they should fit in my rail. The plug's a little different. So it's the same plug, but the little ears down there that stick off the outside, they're in a different location. So I made sure I bought these with pigtails, so it should have a little wire attached so you can solder and stuff. And this is what I received. Yeah, what am I supposed to do with this? Thanks, eBay. Anyway, so we're gonna do the beat up builds thing. We're not gonna let this slow us down. We're gonna grind these ears off, and then it'll plug in. This will retain it, and I think that'll be good enough. So let's get out the grinder and send it. All right, smooth it off with the grinder. Let's see if it fits. That's pretty satisfying. And there we go. We turned lemons into lemonade, right? So never let anything stop you. Looks like I made another mistake here. These injectors are a lot shorter, so they're not going to work. There's no injector spacers unless you have like a American V8. They don't make injector spacers. I thought that would be kind of common. So I guess we're looking at different injectors. I got my new injectors in the mail. They're the same length as these stock ones. Everything's gonna fit. The plug's different, but it did come with a pigtail, so I'm gonna put the pigtail on there and we'll be ready to go with those. So I'm gonna put those in, take off that fuel management unit, and then we can finally actually seriously start tuning this and getting some power out of it, better drivability, all that good stuff. I think we're gonna see a lot more power, so I'm really excited. Let's put these in and start the tuning. So a quick tip when installing new injectors, this O-ring, you need to lube it or it can rip, and that's not fun. So put some Vaseline on here, that's what I usually use, and they'll slide in easier. And then before you put it back together, get it together enough to put fuel pressure to it and just make sure it's not leaking. And then if it does leak, you're already not all the way back together, so it's easier. So that's my little quick tip here. Last night I put the injectors in and then I pressure tested them. I didn't put it completely back together. So there's no leaks or anything. I'm gonna finish buttoning this up. I also need to go and jump out the injector resistor because that's no longer needed with these. That's something to pay attention to on these older fuel injected vehicles. A lot of times they have an injector resistor. So let's hop in. Let's get this thing back together. got the injectors in, we got everything plugged in the computer, and it'll actually adjust. I believe your VE numbers stay the same, but it'll adjust the fueling based on your fuel injectors. So everything should be close to where it at least was when we left off. It wasn't great, it was just to kind of make sure things were going to work. Now we need to really get into some good tuning. The other thing I need to do is I need to confirm that the timing is the same with the timing light at idle as it is in the computer. That way we're not off any degrees or anything like that. I would say even if anything, maybe I want to be a degree less, you know, either right on or 1 degree less. Because if you see any more, more than you're plugging in, you might blow it up. So that's what I need to do. And then I'm just going to sit here tonight and work on the idle. I'll show you guys some tips, and then I might power brake it here in the garage and just tune a little bit there, and then we'll see what I can get done with all that. That's probably, I got 2 hours to try and do that, so we'll see where we get the idle in 2 hours, and then we'll be able to hit the streets tomorrow and do some real tuning and tune the whole range. Alright, it's still warming up. I set the timing. It was, I don't know, maybe 10 degrees off. So I set that, and then I'm waiting for it to warm up, and then I can play around a little more with the idle. In 2 hours, I got the idle nailed down pretty good. I also power braked it and kind of tuned that off idle area. I put some load on it. So I think we can go out on the road now. We can pull up to a stop sign without dying. We can pull away from a stop sign. So we can now go the rest of the map. We can go further and we can tune more. I want to get it roughed in so I can drive it back and forth from work, and then I can really dial it in from there. It seems like it's got more power already, so I'm very excited. Let's fast forward to tomorrow and do some more tuning. I'm going to do a cold start. I'm going to get it up to operating temperature, just idling here, and then I'll go and hit the streets. I want to get it up to operating temperature and tune it that way, get it roughed in so it works decent, you know, like the normal VE table, and then I can always go back in and touch up like the after start enrichment and the like the warm up kind of enrichment and stuff like that for when it's cold. The main thing is get this base map going. So let's start it up, let's see if it even starts, and let it idle. I didn't have to hit the gas. It did take a second to start up, so maybe it needs more fuel at startup or something, but you know, that wasn't too bad. So let's let it idle here and then we can take it out to the streets. I started out driving around city streets doing about 30 miles an hour. I was paying attention to the air-fuel ratio and the VE table, which is, think of it as like your jet size, I guess. There's numbers you can plug in. The bigger the number, the richer it is. So I was looking at those. Wherever it was lean, I'd bump the number up and just adjust accordingly. I also went and found some hills and got the motor to ping and adjusted the timing down a little bit so it wouldn't ping. Then I bumped up the speeds. I went to a road that's 55, did some tuning there to rough that in, and then did some power pulse. I did have some issues here and there, like I put some wrong values in and stuff like that, but I got those straightened out, and then the tuning was really straightforward. It's running fantastic. I'm really happy with how everything's turned out. It's got more power, it runs better, and it seems like it's getting better miles per gallon. I haven't tracked that yet, but it just overall seems to be running fantastic. It seems like we're in the modern age here with fuel injection. So I'm really excited. Let's show you how this thing runs. we did it. We've got it tuned. I would say it's like 95% of the way there. There's still a little bit of fiddling to do. It runs great, starts up no matter what the conditions are. It's just a pleasure to drive now. So I'm really happy about that. I feel like the miles per gallon are pretty good too. It's just been a win. I would say power-wise, we're on the top end, we're about the same as the stock ECU and that FMU, believe it or not. And then I would say mid-range to low range, we've got more power and torque, which is where this motor shines. I can dial in a little bit more timing down low once I get this transmission sorted out. Right now, in third gear, the converter will lock up at like 30 miles an hour. And if I'm going up any kind of hill, it's really a lot for the motor. It lugs it down and it starts pinging really bad. So I dialed my timing back, probably from like 3,500 down. That way it doesn't ping so much when it gets in there. Because right now if I put it in D, it'll shift like I'm barely hitting the gas, no matter how much I'm hitting the gas. So that just kind of keeps it from pinging. It's keeping me safe right now until I get the transmission working properly. So that'll be the next video. I'm going to get the transmission working properly, and then this thing's going to basically be like factory but with more power and just cool. So that's the next step. And then I also have to put the new supercharger I got on my Dart. So that's my other video that's going to come out. So stay tuned. I've got a lot of content coming up. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you love, tell me what you hate, give me ideas. Tell me about your project. I'd love to hear it. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video and see what kind of shenanigans we can get into.